Tomorrow evening at 8 PM UK time, we play in our first leg game against Atletico Madrid in the Arena Națională Stadium in Bucharest. And now, once this game comes tomorrow night, this will officially mean that we have entered the season-defining part of our season. Because you guys, within the next 5 weeks, we have difficult games against Man United, Liverpool, Everton, Leeds, and of course the second leg tie for the game tomorrow night. Within this next 5 weeks, we're going to learn so much about this team. We're going to learn the quality. We're going to learn the fight. We're going to also know the quality that Tuchel has and how he can help us achieve our goals throughout this next 5 weeks. Because the reality is, regardless, Tuchel does have his critics. The critics have been saying things such as, Tuchel's taken over during a time where we've played against easier opposition. And regardless of who the manager is, we're still expected to get results in these games. So, in this next 5 weeks, Tuchel has the power to make a massive statement. And tomorrow night, you guys, a result in the first leg against Atleti could help us on our way to define our season. And now, the question is this the best time to be playing against Atletico Madrid? At this point in time, they've got injuries to key players. We know players like Jimenez, Carrasco, and Vissalco are all going to be out for the game tomorrow. Jimenez is their best defender, and of course in Carrasco and Vissalco, these are two important wingbacks, two wingbacks needed for the system that Atleti are currently playing in. On top of this, you guys, they've had a massive outbreak of COVID within their squads, and yes, even though players like João Felix, Moussa Dembele, and Lamar have returned back to the team, have returned back to the squad, the reality is, with a virus like COVID, it's going to take the players a bit more time to get back to full speed. Considering the manner in which they lost in that 2-0 game against Levante, that was a game where a lack of wingbacks actually stopped them from getting that win. Now this game may be defined by Simeone versus Tuchel, however, the reality is this game will be defined by what the players do on the field. And in today's Atletico Madrid match preview, I'm going to break down the press conference review. I'm going to give my predicted lineups as well, followed at the end by my match prediction for the game tomorrow night. So I hope you guys do enjoy. If you're excited for the game tomorrow night, if you believe in the team, if you believe in Tuchel, if you believe we can get the result tomorrow, you guys, then I'm sorry I'm superstitious, but you have to smash that like button. So without wasting any more time, let's break down what was said in the press conference earlier today. In the press today, both Tuchel and Azpilicueta gave their thoughts and opinions, and now I'm going to start with the Tuchel focused part of the press conference. And straight off the bat, we got some good and some terrible news. Now the good news is both Pulisic and Havertz are back in contention. They are going to be travelling with the squad tomorrow and they are ready to play. But Thiago Silva, the Thiago Silva we were all hoping collectively was going to be playing in tomorrow's game, won't be taking any part. So, you know what? That's not necessarily the end of the world. We do have a massive game against United come the end of the week, and let's pray that Thiago is going to be fit for that game. So anyway, let's move on. And of course, Hudson-Odoi was again something questioned in the press conference, and Tuchel said that after the game, Callum was addressed in front of the entire squad, and in Tuchel's perspective, for him, because it wasn't a big deal, it kind of felt like he was downplaying everything. I'll give you guys my honest opinions because I always give my honest opinions. I felt like Tuchel was absolutely in the wrong for, what he did to Callum. His game was not that bad against Southampton, where he deserved to be subbed off again before the game ended. And it wasn't that bad where he had to be publicly made an example of. Actually, when Callum came on, that's when the threat down the right-hand side came back, and no surprise that the penalty won for Mount came from a pass that Callum played to him. I don't know, it felt like it was pretty unnecessary, and now, unfortunately, it means that all the eyes, all the pressure is going to be on Hudson-Odoi if he plays in the game tomorrow. So let's see how Callum responds to this. Tuchel mentioned that this game will definitely test the team's mental strength, and to end with the final significant part from his press conference, talk then turned towards winning the Champions League and whether there's higher pressure with us or back at Paris Saint-Germain. And Tuchel's answer was quite interesting. He mentioned that with Thiago Silva, obviously implying that they've had conversations about this, Thiago feels that there is less pressure here than back at Paris Saint-Germain. And in my opinion, I absolutely agree with that. The reality is, at this point in time, we aren't a team that is guaranteed to win this tournament. Every year they enter, there is an ambition to win the tournament. And now you guys, let's move on to Aspilicueta and let's hear what he had to say. Aspie was asked about the improved form under Tuchel, with Aspie saying that right now under Tuchel, things are clear. And Tuchel has been clear with his ideas straight from the start. Aspie mentioned that in the game tomorrow, we are going to look to play our game against Atletico Madrid. So this could give us the potential indication in regards to not only how we're going to approach the game against Atleti, but also how we're going to approach the games against the big teams that are going to come straight after this game. And now to end things with a final significant question asked in the press conference, Aspie mentioned that goals will most definitely come in this team because every other aspect of the team is basically on point. It'll be interesting to see how we find solutions offensively as time goes on. I mean, in the next 5 weeks, we're going to be tested so severely. We're going to be tested so much, you guys, and we're going to learn a lot about the team and a lot more about the system and whether we can find that proper offensive threat that is kind of lacking at this point in time. But now, you guys, we now move on to the predictor lineup segment for the video today. In this one, I'm going to break down 3 potential lineups I think Tuchel may use tomorrow, and to kick things off with the first one, I'm going for the most realistic one that I think Tuchel may use. And as you guys can see on screen beside me, I've gone for a 3-4-2-1, considering our game versus Spurs. A game where we deserved that win. A game where it was obvious that Tuchel didn't entirely trust using strikers in the big games. I feel like that could be the same energy that Tuchel uses for the game tomorrow. With Mason Mount, he can definitely play the false nine role, and having those fast players in behind him. Fast players that you need to have whenever you're using a false nine system. I think that Timo Werner and Kai Havertz could have the opportunity now to really show what they're about. With Kai, I think there's a reason why Tuchel hasn't rushed him straight back into the first team or even made him involved as part of the squad. Again, it could be a massive gamble, but my thinking is that there was a game plan to get Havertz ready for this game versus Atleti, because Tuchel, he's a guy that's thinking way ahead. He's constantly thinking about the future, and it wouldn't surprise me. I think in this team, Kai linking up with Hudson-Odoi and Mount could be great to see. In midfield, I think you need to have that energy, that power, the tactical awareness, the defensive nous of Kante, alongside Kova, who's the only one that can play alongside him whenever you do use a pivot. And of course, in wing backs, I do think that Callum is going to play because tactically, of course, he was very key against Spurs. Even that cameo against Southampton recently, it was a big cameo which helped us win the penalty because he played that pass to Mason Mount. And of course, in defence, I've gone for the same one used against Southampton. I think there could be a reason for that. I think you definitely need to have Zuma's aerial prowess in a game like this, and I'm hoping these guys will communicate better and make sure mistakes don't creep in the game tomorrow. Now for the second lineup, my thinking behind this is that this would be a more cautious defensive lineup, a more pragmatic lineup, where Tuchel's thinking we can't afford to lose the first leg. Worst comes to worst, we can take this game back to the bridge and make something happen there. So in this one, I've gone for a 3-5-2. My thinking for this is that with a cautious defensive game, you can't afford to lose that midfield battle. It could be key to win that battle against Atleti, who also possess the power, the work rate, the defensive nous. But I think with this midfield 3 on paper, it's by far our most aggressive midfield 3. And this midfield could give us the opportunity to win that midfield battle and potentially get the result in the first leg. Up front, I've gone for Giroud alongside Werner because the plan could be, whenever there's difficult moments in the game, we have an outlet for a target man, of course by playing those long balls straight to Giroud, bypassing Atleti's midfield and hopefully having Werner making runs off him in behind. And for wing backs, I've gone for Reece James and Alonso because of course Alonso, it seems like he is Tuchel's number 1 at this point in time, and with Reece James of course with his defensive nous and awareness compared to Hudson-Odoi, he could be key as an outlet in the game versus Atleti. So, and for the third and final lineup, this is also another 3-4-2-1 team. Now, my thinking behind this is that, okay, this is basically an identical lineup used against Spurs. Let's say Kai Havertz might come on as a sub in the game, but let's say that certain players might come on as subs to, change the game into our favour. I do feel like seeing the fluidity, seeing how we were able to create chances against Spurs playing this way, it could be the route that Tuchel looks to take this team down against Atleti tomorrow night. For me, that link up we saw with Reece, Hudson-Odoi and Mason Mount was very good. It was extremely potent, very fast, very fluid, and of course guys that have been playing alongside each other for years and years and years. It's no surprise they have that telepathic connection, that you can't necessarily coach. A lot of times it comes down to the solutions the players find, and based on everything Tuchel's been saying about not finding the right solutions on field, maybe this is the best way to go to help create those spaces against Atleti and of course punish him as well. So for me, you guys, ideally if I could pick a lineup, I'd probably go for the first lineup that has Mount, Havertz and Kai. I think Havertz, with his pace and behinds, his box-to-box threat, his finishing ability inside the box, that aerial prowess as well, I think he could be that secret weapon we used against Atleti. But on that note, you guys, they are the 3 predicted lineups. In the comments below, give your thoughts and opinions. What lineup do you prefer? And if you don't like any of them, state the lineup you want to see in the comments below. Now, you guys, to end things with the match prediction, I've gone for a 1-1 draw. Now, my reasoning behind this is that regardless of the fact that this is the best time to play against a team like Atleti, the reality is, can we really believe that this team will take responsibility when it matters? What I'm talking about is stuff like creating the right opportunities. If the opportunities are created, are players going to take their chances and score? I'm not too sure. And I do think that on paper, this could be a game where both managers think, all right, the second leg, that is the game I want to go for. That is the game I want to win. With Atleti's injury crisis right now, they'd probably prefer to take this game to a second leg. And with us, for example, as long as we don't lose in that first leg, you'd imagine the players in the team would feel a lot more confident taking the game back to Stamford Bridge. So on that note, I'm going to wrap things up, keep things moving. Thank you for watching. I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lions TV. I'll see you guys later with some more videos.